You know, there is a lot of excitement, a lot of expectation as to what's going to happen with Donald Trump and how is he going to get attacked and by whom. I think all of them will attack him. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good tactic. I was just listening to CNN last night, and you know how they all get coached about body language and what to say and what not to say at certain times. And they brought up a good point how one of the coaches was coaching one of the candidates today that you're going to see, and the tactic that he is going to use tonight is like the mistake they're doing right now is that they're all thinking about how to attack Donald Trump, and that's the big mistake he said. So instead of that, focus on what they have, their plan to the nation, focus on the people, and pretty much grab their attention and not so much about Donald Trump. Don't make it a Donald Trump.
If they don't attack him, the problem is that they get overshadowed by Trump. But if you attack him, you also have to be careful because he's so unpredictable. And he's been so, in a way, ruthless in attacking people. Look what he did with Senator Lindsey Graham, with giving the audience his personal cell phone. So, you know, you never know. And look what he did in the debate with Jeb Bush. So, Jeb Bush has decided finally to attack him because damn if you do, damn if you don't. And finally decided I better do something. Otherwise, he keeps sliding in the polls, and Trump keeps going up.
So it's definitely going to be interesting.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's what they told me. Day one, immigration. What are we doing realistically?
From what position? From a candidate perspective?
What should we do?
What should we do?
What are we going to do realistically? A wall ain't going to work.
Well, no, a wall isn't going to work. But the wall has become a symbol for a lot of things. Securing the national border, making sure that the sovereignty of the U.S. is protected. And everybody's down with that. We all get it. But there is still not just that, but the humanitarian aspect that has to be dealt with as well. It's something Ronald Reagan dealt with. I was surprised that was not brought up
But he granted mass amnesty.
Well,
it didn't
exactly,
work.
exactly.
It
did not work. But keep in mind what the deal was back then. The deal was to deal with the security portion of it. So you had amnesty with no security. So now I think both parties are actually talking about not just having the ability to make sure that folks have an opportunity to come to the country, but to do it the right way, to make sure that the border is secure. And, you know, I don't like the way we talked about it. I think we put some strong and very noble proposals out there. I think the way Jeb Bush has talked about the human side of it, the compassionate side of it is equally as important as whether or not you secure the voter. So finding that ability to have the conversation in a way in which, again, you're reflecting a party that's about assimilation and embracing culture and embracing diversity, at the same time recognizing, like all sovereign nations, that our borders are to be protected. That there is a right way and a wrong way to come to the United States. We get your desire for the dream, to follow your dream to be here, but let us help you do it the right way as opposed to the wrong way. I think that there's a legitimate space for that conversation.
I have a solution. Want to know what it is?
What's that?
We either have to pay me or watch Fox. No, but here's the one everybody agrees with. 700,000 illegal immigrants are convicted felons.
Yes.
We don't even have our jurisdictions report to the federal authorities. Can we pass a law?
Yeah, well, that is something that Trump talks about that resonates with a lot of people out there.
I don't hear him saying that.
Well, the sanctuary cities conversation is around that idea. But at the end of the day, look, this is an issue that is an important part of what the party has to address, clearly, number one. Number two, that the idea that these candidates have, how to deal with not just the security part, but the human aspects is also equally important. We haven't really heard that fleshed out. We've kind of gotten lost in the conversation about the war or the wall, or the examples of when someone is killed or harmed by an illegal immigrant here in the country. We need to get past that wall that blocks us from actually dealing substantively with the immigrants that are here and what longer term the policy is going to be. The party doesn't set that. That's going to be something in a presidential election that's going to come from our nominee, hopefully, and from our elected officials in the Congress. And unfortunately, there has not been a whole lot done since the Gang of Eight tackled this one now a couple of years ago and then walked away from it. And so I think it behooves the party, because that was a missed opportunity, to revisit that as we go forward in this conversation.
I'm going to let these animals have you. Thank you very much.
I'm going to save you some time. I'm with my partners, Del Nazarian.
Hey,
How are you?
yes.
I was with you at Fox News, actually.
Yes, how are you
Pleasure
doing?
to see you.
Good to
It's
see
hard on
you.
you tonight. I'd like to call you a little bit later, maybe, today, and you can call.
Okay, absolutely.
So, Steele, do you think Trump is good for the Republican Party?
Yeah, sure. Why wouldn't you be?
Is he just bringing undue attention to the party because of
No,
immigration?
it's not just about immigration. I think in a lot of ways it's reflecting a lot of anxieties and frustration that I've seen growing the grassroots part for a long time, number one. Number two, I think that he is challenging the other candidates who are seeking nomination to sort of step up their game and tell the base, okay, that I'm not doing the same old thing, that I'm not prepared to give you lip service on health care, on immigration, on the economy, on taxes, etc. But in fact, I'm substantively going to back it up by saying and holding true to those core principles and values that we believe in. So that's the dynamic you're seeing played out right now on many stages. I think the one who's handled it the best so far has been Carson. I think that's reflected by the fact that she is going to be on the stage. I think after tonight, I think a lot more people are going to be listening and talking about her in the context of Donald Trump and Ben Carson, someone from the outside who's again shaping the debate within the party.
Can somebody like that win?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. You know why I say that? Because I look at what's happening on the left. I look at what's happening with the number of the fall off for Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton came into this thing with what, 63% of support among Democrats. She's losing Democrat women. She's down to 47% support of Democrats in the party. Sanders is now leading her in Iowa. Is that a precursor of where the election is going to be this time next year with Sanders as nominee? I look forward to a Sanders-Trump general election. I don't know about y'all, but it's going to be fun. But we have a long way to go to get there. But what it says to Hillary, what it says about the Democratic Party, is that the same things that you see played out in a lot of media folks like to focus on the GOPs, and they turn the camera over there a little bit too, because they got the same dynamic in play. Because Democrats, like Republicans, meaning all Americans, are frustrated with the political process, but it's largely lied to them, and that contempt for that process is being manifested by what you see happening with both Trump and Sanders.
What can Republicans do about the Iran deal?
Pardon me?
What can Republicans do about the Iran deal?
Well, at this point, just continue to try to modify it or work with the administration to make sure that those safeguards that the administration has argued about being in place are in fact not only in place but enforced, and keeping a keen eye. The fact it was nice to have a rally after the vote, the day of the vote. But what was the point? And that again is the frustration that the base has. You have enough lead time to lead on these issues. And someone like Trump is saying, I'm not going to waste time, I'm not going to wait to get permission, I'm going to engage, I'm going to lead, and that resonates with a lot of people right now.
Are you worried that the tone of the immigration discussion, though, is permanently alienating?
I do. I worry a lot about that, and I think a lot of folks within the party do, because that's not who we are, and it's not who we've been. We've historically been a party that's talked about assimilation. We've talked about welcoming people, not building walls to keep them out, but making sure that the process that they come in through is a secure one and an appropriate one. A lot of folks, harken back to the Reagan amnesty of 1986, but a lot of that was the failure to enforce the provisions of the law that dealt with border security. So now the base is sitting there saying, okay, we're just not going to give you carte blanche. We want to see for sure that that is the priority number one. So you're hearing a lot of candidates begin to express that. I think some very well, others not so much. But the fact of the matter is they're trying to reflect back to the base more than anything else that we've heard it, we get it, and we're going to move forward the right way, the correct way this time. But there is a way to do that so that you're not ticking people off, alienating them. There's going to be some work to do after this primary is over. I hope no one in the party is fooling themselves about this, that we're going to have to do a lot of bridge building and fence mending with large swaths of communities, Hispanic communities across the country, to let them know that we really do want them to be a part of our party, but a part of the American dream as we talk about it.
Can you win without the Hispanic vote?
No, I don't see how you do it. The combination of voices right now out there are such that you have to reach everybody. African Americans, Hispanics, Asian, women, gay and lesbian. That's the beauty of how the electorate has changed. Everyone now not only has a voice, but they're exercising that voice, and the parties have got to pay attention. I got to get back on real guy.
The idea of America has created more wealth than any other civilization in the history of the world. It's done more for the defenseless, more to fight for freedom than any other civilization in the history of the world. I'm a good man to fight the idea of
Times reported when you announced your candidacy that there was a $1.6 billion deficit that you had global economic stability. If you had that in Louisiana, how in the world can people expect any better when you're president?
You need to update your Democratic talking points. We balanced our budget without raising taxes. Let me finish. Let me answer your question. We have more time working than ever before, more people working in Louisiana than ever before. We've reversed 25 years of out-migration, top 10 state in terms of job creation, per capita income ranking the highest than it's ever been, 8 credit upgrades, count them 8, our highest credit rating in decades. Yes, sir.
Were you surprised at all that the first questions out of your seat were about Donald Trump?
No, not at all. Look, a lot of people like the idea of Donald Trump because the reality is he's an outsider, politically incorrect, he's going after the DC establishment. I like all of that about him. What I don't like is the reality of Donald Trump. The idea of Donald Trump is great. The reality is a joke. He's a narcissist. He's an egomaniac. Maybe he thinks he'll fit into D.C. because he has declared bankruptcy now more times than any other major corporation in the last 30 years. Bankruptcy is spending money you don't have without a way to pay back your debts. He would fit in great with D.C. today. That is not what we need. We need to change D.C.
So people want a celebrity president. We are running a huge deficit. Where do we get the money for the wall?
Look, it'll cost us more not to secure our border. It'll cost us more not to enforce our laws than to continue to allow people to come in this country illegally. We need to do it, not only because it's the right thing to do, but also for national security reasons.
Should Jeb Bush be speaking Spanish on the campaign trail?
He should speak whatever he wants. I think anybody that comes to America, it doesn't matter, it's not going to save his campaign. Anybody coming to America should learn English, should adopt our values. There's nothing wrong with saying that English should be the official language of our country. Look, Jeb Bush can speak Spanish, he can speak English, he can speak Vulcan, he can speak French. It doesn't matter what he speaks. He can't erase the fact that he said he thinks we should lose the primary in order to win the general election. Let me translate. That's the establishment telling us, abandon your hide your conservative principles so that the media, the left will like you. That doesn't work. If we do that again, we will lose again. We will deserve to lose again. We need to stand for our conservative principles, not try to get the left of the media to like us, not try to be a second liberal party, not try to blur the differences. I think his bigger problems, his bigger challenges aren't his language. It's his belief that we need to stop these people.
So what time is this starting? What about college affordability? At a time where tuition is higher than ever, what do you think about that?
Look, we got to grow the American economy. At a time we've got 2% economic growth, they're calling that a recovery. At a time where you've got a record low participation rate in the workforce, too many college students or graduates can't afford their loans. They're not getting good paying jobs, not getting the increases in income that they should be doing. So shrink the government, grow the American economy, shrink the government economy, lower flatter tax rates, energy independence. We've done things in Louisiana, for example. We've got a top program. We're one of the 10 best states in the country with student debt. I think we also need to break the monopoly on student loans the federal government took over as part of Obamacare, break up the accreditation monopoly as well. But the bottom line is grow the American economy so these students can have good paying jobs so they can afford the rising cost. Are you concerned with President Obama? Snowden needs to come back and face the issue. But the reality is, the bigger debate, I think they were right. I think the Congress is right to say that our spy agencies need to have the tools they need to protect us, but they don't need to be looking at the records routinely of Americans for no reason. But I think that was right. I'm glad they took action and changed it.
Are you concerned with the polls telling you, does America want a celebrity president right now?
Look, we already have a celebrity president in the White House. We need somebody who's a proven conservative. The reality is, I think it's right to want somebody who'll shake things up in D.C. I think it's right to want somebody who doesn't have permission from D.C. that will take on the establishment. But Donald Trump is a narcissist. He's an entertainer. Give him his reality TV show back, put him on the elevator, fire him. He's not a conservative, he's not a liberal, he's not an independent. He doesn't believe in anything but Donald Trump. We need to test, and we need to rely on our tested, proven conservative principles, not a man who only believes in himself.
Why is he killing in the polls?
Well, like I said, the idea of Trump is great. The idea of Trump is fantastic. The reality of Trump is what's troubling. And I think it is time for folks to say the silliness of the summer season is over. It's time for us to be serious and look at where our country is going. 4 more years in this direction, we will no longer recognize this America. They're turning the American dream into the European nightmare. We're seeing more and more declines. We're celebrating a record number of folks, Americans on food stamps, record low participation rate in the workforce. That's backwards. That's not the American dream. That's not the future of our country. We are drowning in debt. Nobody in D.C., they're all a bunch of math deniers. They have no plan to pay it back, no plan to ever pay our bills. That cannot continue to go. The idea of America is what's at stake in this election. I don't think President Obama should shut down the government in order to keep funding Planned Parenthood. I think the Republicans, no, it's up to the president. The Congress has a constitutional right to allocate funds. I think it's up to the president to see whether he's really willing to shut down the entire government simply to defend taxpayer dollars going to this group that has been caught in these barbaric practices. I don't think the president should do that. That'll be up to him. What I do want the Republicans to do is fight. They're giving up before the fight has started. It is ridiculous for Senators McConnell, Graham, and others to say they can't get this done. It's not impossible to get done. They may not be able to do it. If they can't, it's time to replace the folks that can, that will fight for our beliefs, will actually fight. I gave a very backhanded compliment to Senator Reid, to Nancy Pelosi, and Obama. But let me repeat it. At least they fight for what they believe in. They twisted every arm. They broke every rule to get Obamacare done. I want my side to follow the law and follow the Constitution. But I want them to have just as much passion fighting to save America as the left is using to fight to change America. So it's time for the Republicans to fight in D.C.
Before the debate began, Trump was a target, and Obama was first. He'd be gone for a month or 2 months.
I don't know. Look, you're presuming that President Obama will show.
It was clear even before the debate began that Trump was the target.
I'm saying it's I want the Republicans to fight. What is wrong with them actually fighting for what they believe in? These videos shock the conscience of a country, not just pro-lifers like myself. Others that aren't pro-life are also shocked by these videos. It is time for us to have this fight. It is time for us to stand for our beliefs. I'm not saying that President Obama's going to shut down the government. I don't know why you presume that the president would choose
you just
to
said
shut down the
what he
government.
believes in. Why would you fight for Planned Parenthood?
This is the same mistake the Surrender Caucus makes. They say, we're going to give up to the president before he fights because we think he's going to beat us. Fight. You know, the Democrats did say after Ted Kennedy's seat, they lost Ted Kennedy's seat. They didn't say, well, we lost our 60 votes on this Iran deal. Why not put sanctions on every bill that gets to the president's desk? Why not use the nuclear option to force a vote to stop this bad Iran deal? We want Republicans to fight. I want them to fight and win. I'd be satisfied with just fighting right now. That'd be an improvement over where they are today. They need to stop giving up to this president. The only group he can beat in the entire world. He can't beat the Castro brothers. He can't beat the Ayatollahs in Iran. The only group he seems to be able to beat are the Senate and House Republicans. It's time for them to fight for what we believe in. Otherwise, they need to give back their campaign money. They need to resign their seats. They campaign saying, give us the majority. We'll get rid of Obamacare and amnesty. Were they lying then or are they lying now? They need to do the job.
The candidates came into the big issue as a celebrity of Trump completely overshadowed the political process.
This is about fighting the idea of America. Because this is about fighting to save the idea of America. We're slipping away from $18 trillion of debt. The president won't declare war on radical Islam. The president continues to grow the government so it overwhelms America. We need to save the idea of America to fight to save the idea of America. That's what
as a celebrity,
absolutely, that's what I'm saying. You've got to shadow the process. Absolutely, that's how we're going to fire the ball. Look, I said this earlier, I'm angrier with the Republicans because they're not fighting for what they say they believe in. At least the Democrats are.
So are you saying John Boehner and Mitch McConnell need to go?
Absolutely. Look, we need to fire everybody in D.C. The reality is we need a clean house. Our leaders cannot just fund Planned Parenthood. They can't fight against this Iran bill. It's not our leaders that absolutely get the job done. But our Republicans are all over the show because they've not done enough to fight.
Who would you support to replace Mitch McConnell?
One of the reasons that is he's honest about being a socialist. I think it's our side to be honest and fight out because we can get out of the way and allow look, I think we need a whole new group in D.C. So that's why I'm for term limits. I think the reality is they've gotten too accustomed to surrendering. You heard it from Lindsey today. They're too accustomed to giving up before the fight. We need a group that's willing to fight, to go in there and say, this isn't about getting a lobbyist job. This isn't about simply staying there forever and getting a six-figure salary or a seven-figure lobbying check. This is about fighting for our conservative principles. They seem to have lost the will and the desire to fight. If they won't fight for our principles, the principles are still good. It's just the folks there. It's time to replace all. There's no one in that. Look, I don't think we should be short-circuiting the process we've got today. The reality is that taking in more Syrian refugees won't solve the problem. We need to fix our failed foreign policy. That's what's caused this flood. That's what's caused this problem. I think the reality is we need to fix our foreign policy. America's the most generous country in the world, but short-circuiting our vetting process to allow people in this country to be foolish would be a mistake. We're the most generous country in the world, but letting people here without the proper vetting would be foolish for our national security. I wouldn't go beyond the normal process. We've got a process every year where our country takes in roughly 70,000 refugees every year normally. I'm saying don't change the process, don't increase the numbers, don't change the rules. We do need to fix the foreign policy failures. This president drew a failed red line in Syria and said if Assad crosses this line, there will be consequences. There weren't. Now we see hundreds of thousands of refugees going into Europe, millions of displaced people. I think you can draw a direct line from his failed foreign policy to that situation. The reality is we've got to fix that foreign policy. Simply letting in more refugees simply puts a Band-Aid on a problem. It doesn't solve the problem. We need to fix the failed foreign policy. Last question. Assad needs to go. We need to arm and train the Kurds. We need to fight against radical Islamic terrorism. Of course Obamacare needs to go. We need to get freedom back to the healthcare system.
Look, what I heard, and I didn't really get a chance to talk too much about that, what I heard was a lot of folks up on stage saying, well, we can't trust the American voter, we can't trust the Republican Party voter to weed out the wheat from the chaff. I don't believe that. I mean, Donald Trump's either going to rise or fall based on what Donald Trump, how he performs, and the idea that we're providing some public service by calling him out on his personal foibles is, I think, ridiculous. The fact of the matter is, the people of America are going to listen to Donald Trump, they're going to make their decision, and I don't think I need to add or subtract anything from that.
Senator, do you think that the more we talk about him, the more attention that gets Hillary Clinton?
Well, the more we throw barbs at each other and call each other names, number one, it turns voters off, as it should. They don't want to hear about people calling each other names, people accusing people of being narcissists or whatever the case may be. The American voter can figure out whether someone's a narcissist. You don't have to have another candidate call them that. I mean, it doesn't add or subtract anything. When I point out a difference between myself and Ted Cruz on the issue of legal immigration, and he wants to 500% increase in H-1Bs, well, that's something that a lot of voters don't know, and it's a substantive debate, and Ted Cruz can defend the fact that he wants to bring in a lot more people in this country to compete against our workers. That's the kind of debate we need to have.
Senator, do you think that if Jeb Bush speaking Spanish on the campaign trail is a smart idea for him?
Lower that mic. I mean, I think Jeb has decided that the immigration issue is about Hispanics, and I say the immigration issue is about Americans, and not that, and of course, Hispanics are part of America, but it's not just about a small group of people in this country who came here illegally. The immigration issue is an issue about all Americans and how all Americans are affected. And to think that somehow or another that there aren't a lot of people in this country who came here, work here illegally, who aren't upset about illegal immigration, aren't upset about people not playing by the rules and jumping ahead, if you will, of them and the ability to be able to come to this country and work here, I just think is wrong. I think there's if you look at this immigration issue, the fact of the matter is people want to see somebody who's standing up and fighting for the interest of working Americans, and that's what I'm doing.
You ran from the table over the whole immigration issue, and then Jindal also with the amnesty. Is that being honest?
Well, I mean, he has the same position as Ted Cruz, which Ted Cruz is for amnesty. He believes that people should be able to get a work permit after the border is secured. Well, and they both have said, well, we'll secure the border in 6 months. Okay, so he's for 6 months, for amnesty in 6 months. But to say that somehow or another that is an amnesty if you're providing a permanent work permit, giving people the right to stay in this country if you broke the law. And as I said, almost half the people who are here illegally came here legally. We know who they are. We know their name, we know their identification numbers, and we can very easily find them and ask them to go home. So now you've solved half of your problem right away, and the other half becomes a lot more manageable after that if you put an e-verify system that says that you can't work in this country unless you have a legitimate right to be here. You do those two things, you're going to solve a big part of the problem here. You start cracking down on sanctuary cities, you start cracking down on people who are committing crimes and not just releasing them but actually deporting them. Then you're going to deal with the bulk of the problem in this country. And it does, and it's again, it's very. We're there to make sure that the immigration system is working for hardworking Americans who are being left behind by this economy.
Do you see any potential scenario of U.S.-Russian cooperation in Syria?
What is that?
Do you see any potential scenarios of U.S.-Russian cooperation?
I don't think you're going to see any cooperation between Russia, who's supporting Assad, and the United States. I don't agree with Senator Graham that we should be deploying troops in Syria. I do believe that we should start in Iraq and drive ISIS out of Iraq. That is the principal goal right now of freeing those areas of Iraq and the Kurdish areas, and obviously in the southern part of Iraq. That has to be the highest priority, and I think putting an invasionary force into Syria is a two-front war that I'm not particularly interested in fighting.
Senator Graham lightened the mood when he was drinking common again.
Lindsey's a funny guy. I mean, he's really very sharp and quick wit. I think he's wrong on a lot of issues that I'm not sure are going to be ones that are going to be successful in the library, but Lindsey's a friend. I mean, he is true. I mean, he's a good guy, and I wish him very well.
Senator, do you think you yourself enough tonight?
Hopefully I differentiated myself. I mean, obviously, there's always more opportunities to do that, but I think we were the candidate out there saying that if you're going to win this election, you're going to have to appeal to the heart of America. You have to appeal to people who are feeling like no political party really cares about them and their ability to rise. And I think I did that tonight. And if we're going to win this election, you better win Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, all across the Rust Belt. And the 1-2 punch of standing for working Americans and restoring the manufacturing economy in this country, I think is going to be a very powerful thing for us going forward.
Does Donald Trump's celebrity change the way you campaign now?
Lower the stick. Just remind everybody that 4 years ago, CNN
left,
1% and be at 1. I didn't go after Rick Perry 4 years ago, and I made distinctions on issues. And I'll continue to do that with all the candidates where there are distinctions.
Are we celebrities obsessed as a society? Is that why he's resonating?
Well, I don't know why he's...
lean left.
Obviously, people are attracted to folks who are in the news a lot, and of course, the more Donald Trump is in the news, the more people are attracted to him. So I think it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy at some point.
And lastly, what's your response to those? What's your response to those who critique the fact that there's tax plan? She's gotten specific onto his credit. Most of those were, at least a chunk of them, a big chunk of the patriots.
Well, the wealthiest make the most money. In this case, they'll be paying a larger share of taxes than they are now. So a larger share? Yes, a larger share than they are now. So actually, this is a very fair tax. And it's focused on the middle class. It's also focused on the things that we need to do to restart economic growth in this country. The 2% new normal is not good enough. What this president has produced in terms of economic recovery is not good enough.
To be clear, a larger share of their income or a larger share of the overall tax burden?
The overall tax burden, a larger share will be paid by people making over $300,000 than they are now.
Under Governor Bush.
Under Governor Bush.
Do you think it's
Thank you.
about marijuana? Do you think that made him more likable, or do you think it'll raise more questions?
Don't raise questions. I mean, he had the opportunity to apologize to his mom. 25 million people. It was a moment of humor, but also a moment of humanity. I think the debate allowed him to talk about what's going on, for example, in New England right now with the heroin epidemic. So I think Governor Bush met that moment and not only brought humor into the debate, but humanity, and it was a great moment. No, we just kind of passed on the way through, but we're all very proud of you tonight. Thrilled to be out here talking about the performance tonight. Knowing that tomorrow's another day, we got to roll our sleeves back up and get back to work, and in 6 weeks we'll do it all again. We feel great about tonight.
Do you feel better tonight than you did after the last debate?
I think we did what we did in the first debate because, first of all, he hadn't debated in quite a while. He made no mistakes. We were able to get the record out in the first debate, which was very important. But I think in this debate, I think we saw more of his strength and leadership show through. I think he felt more comfortable. A lot of that is just more time, and more repetition. I think that it's stronger throughout.
More time like practicing, or just more time on the trail?
More time on the trail, and also more time on the debate stage. The first debate, you're kind of working out the sea legs a little bit. This debate, you saw him much more comfortable, and so he turned into what I thought was the performance of the night. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I don't think that's a question anymore. Look, first of all, it was always kind of a ridiculous charge. Governor Bush handled 8 hurricanes in 14 months before that. Anybody who worked with him knows how hard he worked. He had a countdown clock on his desk, for goodness sake, counting down to the last minute of his governorship so that he could get everything done that he wanted to get done to pass his agenda and to reform Florida and make things better for people. So, he is a high-energy guy. He works harder than anybody I know. And I think he did that for us tonight. And he did it with humor and levity. And he gave Donald Trump a pretty good low 5 as well.
Yeah, you did. What do you think about how personal things got? Were you okay with how the moderators? I mean, they said they were going to do what they did. They hit the candidates against one another. I mean, as you think about that went down, and I guess in particular, Jeb's response defending his wife and telling Donald to open the crowd and apologize. What do you think about Trump's response to that?
Well, I mean, Trump responds to that. Trump always tells you you can't ever admit things wrong, even when it's offending millions of people. So, I wasn't surprised by it. I thought, first of all, if you ask people about that exchange, they're going to say what Jeb Bush was there for his family. Only that is defending American value, which is that this country is made great by immigrants from all over. So, I think that was a good moment.
Did he get 2%?
Moderators are in control of how these debates go. It's not like a candidate can dictate how that works. So you respond to the questions that you're asked. You jump in when you need to jump in. You defend yourself when you need to defend yourself.
Anderson, thanks so much. I am here with Governor Walker. Great to have you with us. What was your most memorable moment?
Well, we're going to step in and start about issues. We laid out a clear path. We've had a mistake. Right now,
In fact, I pointed out in contrast, Mr. Trump wants people to vote for him based on his business record. I said, well, if you want that, then people should remember he took 4 major projects into bankruptcy. You know, you can't take America into bankruptcy. I mean, that's the power of life. Too many politicians want to act like anything.
And what about that format where you got to mix it up right there, I mean, almost right next to each other, and you're trading norms? Was that awkward? Was it uncomfortable? Were you welcoming that moment?
No, I mean, when I had 100,000 protesters, I had literally people take over events about as close as we are right now getting in our place, and we didn't back down. We did the right thing. We took on the machine. We took on the Washington-based self-interest stuff. Doing that's not a problem. I just think in the end, though, people want in the future to hear more about details about what our plans are. I've got a plan to grow the economy. I've got a plan to take huge chunks of the federal government and send it back to the states and the people. The more we talk about that, the better off we are.
A lot of the buzz online was that Carly Fiorina stole the show. What do you think of her performance and her exchange with Donald?
Well, I think she's impressive, and I thought the things that he said about her were completely unacceptable. I was one of the first people to come out and speak out about that. But in the end, America saw that it's a great field of candidates out there. Some wonderful Republicans running. Hopefully, whomever the nominee is, and I'd like to be that nominee, we'll pick a good number of them to be in the cabinet, kind of like the book Team of Rivals. That would be a pretty good fit, just like Lincoln did. So putting any of those same folks in, I think America got to see there's some pretty great talent in the Republican Party.
Would you be willing to take a cabinet position?
Well, I'm focused on earning the trust of voters in Iowa and all the early states to be the one making that choice, just like I've done as governor and county executive.
You have been struggling a bit in the polls. Do you think that tonight was a breakthrough moment?
Yeah, I think so. I think people, what I heard in Iowa is a lot of people have said to me, cafes and diners and places I go to, you're one of my top 2 or 3 candidates out there. What I want to see is the kind of passion you showed when you took on the big government media bosses, when you took on the Washington-based special interests. I think we should have done that.
Scott Walker, thanks so much.
Mr. Walker.
I'm here with Scott Wilk, Assembly Member 38th Assembly District here in SIMI Valley.
SIMI Valley. I represent from Aqua Dulce to the Reagan Library. That's my east-west.
So this is your territory.
Yes, yes.
And what do you think of making it?
I think we are going to separate the wheat from the chaff. I think there's some candidates that are going to move forward that shine tonight, and there's others that could make a case for themselves, and they ought to think about dropping out.
And well, you saw the 4 earlier in the earlier debate.
I did.
What do you think?
Well, I thought Jindal was incredible. I thought he was incredibly articulate and witty, and made a case for himself. The other 3 not so much.
That's pretty much what I thought.
Yeah.
What we perceived. She did her homework for the first 3, but that's your back. Too much about the last one. The 11. As far as the 11 go, I guess from a party perspective, I heard just heard from the state chairman on there and say that
he's a former state chair.
That the party's
not current.
The party's defined by its candidates.
Yes, that's true.
And you've got 15 candidates debating here 4 years ago. They had like.
Well, I think it's 2 things. I think one, we got an incredibly strong bench, which is good. And 2, it's early. When they had here last time, I think it was later in the campaign, so it wasn't.
September 7th.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, nearly all those people are qualified to be president, in my opinion. So I think that it talks about our bench.
And I guess now we have probably the strongest woman I've ever seen for President Carly Fiorina. That's got to be bringing a woman over to the Republican side. You got probably the strongest black candidate we've ever seen. Not by race, but Ben Carson, obviously is. Very articulate, very persuasive. And you have a number of, I guess, Hispanics running. Cruz and Rubio, both are very articulate.
Right.
And I guess I'm just asking you, because I know you don't have to pick on me.
No, well, I don't have a candidate yet, because to me, after 8 years of Obama, it's about winning, and I want to win. Tonight, and I didn't see it on TV. I got to go watch it on TV, but because I was in the room, and in the room, it was clearly, in my opinion, Marco, Carly, and I thought Christie, did quite well as well. And I think either of those are a nice contrast to Hillary Clinton. And obviously, from what they did tonight, you could tell that they're willing to take it to him.
I think that was very important.
Yes.
And as far as how is the party in California going to grow, and your district is going to grow as well as others?
Well, I mean, that's what it's all about. So, last election cycle, the Republicans picked up 3 seats in the state assembly, 1 seat in the state senate to break the supermajority. We, for better or worse, because no one covers us in Sacramento, we're branded by what goes on in Washington.
Washington, D.C., and who our Republican nominee is. So for me, it's really important that we have an incredible nominee that's going to reflect the values of our party and have a positive view on how America is going to move forward. And that's what I'm looking for in a candidate. And a number of people, in my opinion, show that they have that ability.
All right, switching to a state issue here. You can make a switch in the tape here, whatever, if you're going to do that. State issue on water.
Yes.
The governor just released another set of telling us how much grass we can have in our houses. He's taken over as water czar since 2013. What can we do to abolish the state water resources?
Well, we need to do more than that. First of all, we need to capture, store, and convey water. The fact of the matter is 49% of all California water goes out into the Pacific. So when the governor comes out with these phony policies to cut urban water use by 25%, that's only 2.5% of all the water in California.
But he's using
it's not a real policy. It's all about bringing control to Sacramento. I agree with you on that.
So how are we going to abolish the state water resources board?
Well, we try through legislation, but it's not going to happen. Maybe we need to take a look at doing it through legislation.
What about referendum? Can we pass a referendum?
Well, it'd have to be an initiative, not a referendum. One of the things that I've been talking to people about, and haven't got a lot of traction yet because they're afraid of the governor, but I wanted to move forward with an initiative that allow the voters to have the ability to cancel the bullet train. And then there's $8 billion sitting there unspent that the courts have told them they can't spend because they're out of compliance with the law. Repurpose that to water infrastructure. And I'm talking to people about that, so hopefully that's something else we can do.
Okay, switching subjects here. Chanel's something in mind is Tom Lackey. And I'm in Kern County. And in Kern County, it's been alleged that Jerry Brown is a racketeer. That he engaged in a conspiracy to break the law when it comes to the national resource water in Kern County. And in fact, as a result of him conspiring to do so, water has been damaged in Kern County. Were you aware of that?
I'm not aware of that at all. I've not heard that from Mr. Lackey or Assemblywoman Shannon Grove.
Okay, I probably need to send him a copy and you a copy.
Okay, great.
It's probably a very experience.
Okay.
The council, you haven't seen that yet.
No, I've not seen it.
So I guess my question is, if you were able to ascertain what she's saying and your policy is true, why is it that this racketeer is trying to dictate water policy in the state of California?
I would have to see it all before I could comment on it, but I will tell you, I'm not afraid to stand up to the governor. He's vetoing all my bills because he's not happy about me because I've been such a vocal advocate against the bullet train. So I'm not worried about that.
I would like to happen to get you more ammunition. You haven't got the ammunition I have available to you.
I don't have it.
Okay, I'll get that to you. They just won the case from Los Angeles to Sacramento as far as federal court that it's in. And they filed it in June, and he's still a dependent now. I think that speaks for me.
Good. Interesting.
Good to see you, Scott.
Good seeing you.
Okay.